All right. Welcome to the second week of House Money Fantasy DraftKings lineup builder. Last week we set a cash lineup and a GPP lineup that we would like to forget, but our cash lineup did hit 182, so definitely better than most of the lineups I played. And if anyone did do GPP and play Jay Cutler cheesy, I apologize for
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear
that. So tonight we actually have one of our originals that was supposed to be here last week. So I'll go to him first. Charles, you want to say hi?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Cheesy, next.
What's up? I'm representing Darren Williams tonight.
All right.
Oh.
And
I'm a Mavs fan. I don't even like that.
I'm an Illinois fan, Illini, right? And last but not least, we got TJ.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Hoping to make some solid lineups tonight.
Liking the Cubs shirt there. All right. So before we jump into our DraftKings lineup builder, I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor of this show. Tonight's sponsor is Falafel House, as you can see from the shirt that I'm wearing. Falafel House is the place to go for NFL fantasy advice and shenanigans. Oh, I read this again. I'm sorry. As you can see, I'm wearing my falafel shirt in support of our sponsor. Unfortunately, they made me buy it myself. So make sure to check out falafelhouse.com. Where they offer weekly articles, podcasts, rankings, and more. You can follow them on Twitter at Falafel House. And by the way, falafel is F-L-A-F-F-L, for those who can't see my shirt very well. And then just real quick, their podcasts offer great insight, and guys like Kevin Cotillo, Sal Lito, and Stephen Marcus are more than just names listed on iTunes. Those are the guys that host their podcasts. These guys and the rest, automatic restart, horrible timing. These guys and the rest of the Falafel family let you into their lives as they share a wealth of fantasy football knowledge. To get even more insight from these guys and others, make sure to download the Fantasy Life app and search for Falafel in the Discovery tab, or just look at the trending chats as Falafel is typically number one. Remember, Falafel means family.
That's
all right.
Cute.
Yeah. So that was my awful read that I practiced like once, but my computer totally jacked it up. Rob. I appreciate it. Hopefully the guys over at Falafel appreciate it as well. All right, so we're going to get into quarterbacks, and I am going to throw it over to TJ first if you want to let me know who are two guys you think we should look at for cash lineups.
All right. For cash, I think you got to start up top with Aaron Rodgers. He's got 30.3 DK points a game over his last four. And, I mean, Washington is a little bit above average. They're 14th in DVOA versus the pass. But the way Rodgers has been playing, I don't see him having any problem hitting 3X. And then my next play is the guy I've been playing for literally probably 4 weeks in a row now, Dak Prescott. DraftKings just refuses to raise his price no matter what he does. I don't understand it. He's hit 3X every week since week one. And, I mean, in his last four, he's actually, he's just gotten better pretty much every game. He's averaging nearly 24 DraftKings points a game in his last four. And Baltimore's defense, I think some people are going to be scared off because they're actually a pretty good pass defense. But we saw Dak go in a few weeks ago and just shred Philly's number one pass defense for 28 points. So I don't see him having a problem hitting 3X in this one.
I concur. I will not like the Aaron Rodgers pick just because I'm a Bears fan. But let's go over to Charles and see who you think we should use. Let's go with another two guys.
By far the best pick of the week for quarterback is going to be Andy Dalton this week. He's going up against Buffalo, 23rd in pass DVOA. They're the worst in the league against number one wide receivers and 27th against tight ends. Eifert's healthy. Green's going hard. Green hasn't had a game yet with less than 8 targets. Dalton hasn't had that breakout game yet. He hasn't had his 3 touchdown game. He hasn't gone through a full season yet without having one of those. The last 2 games. Hey, Waylon, quiet down. It's my cat, guys. Over the last 2 games, Buffalo let Brady and Wilson combined to go 42 of 59 for 597 and 6 touchdowns. I just think Dalton is going to do it this week.
I think your cat likes Dalton too.
Yeah, that's a sign. Just lock him in.
That's our version of the Jerry bark of approval. It's the Waylon meow. Hey, buddy.
Wish he was here last week for Jay Cutler.
Next guy that I like almost as well, or almost as much, same game, Tyrod Taylor. His rushing, he's got a floor of 8 points right there just rushing. He hasn't, let's see, where to go. My notes are a mess. I do pen and paper notes, so it's a little harder to.
I like it.
I'm old.
Kinda jealous.
That's how we do things.
While you're looking that
You
up,
don't
I
know what
did
a pen
hear.
is.
Just to piggyback off the Tyrod Taylor, I heard that he actually averages 6.6 DK points just from rushing alone every week.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's what it was. I see it right here now. He's also had a rushing touchdown in his last 3 games. I'm a little worried that McCoy seems to be healthy now. That might take away from the touchdowns, but still just the rushing in general. I mean, with the yards, he should be fine. And they did get tore up by Kevin Hogan on the ground. So, I mean, if Hogan can do it, I don't see why Taylor can't do it.
Yeah.
all right, Cheesy, who you got?
All right. Well, I'm not going to advertise Jay Cutler again because that's just not a smart thing to do. But
Yeah,
I am going to advertise. And what were you going to say?
I'm gonna interrupt right now, and I think that as a website, as a team, we're just gonna say no more Jay Cutler ever again the rest of the season.
In
No
my
more Jay
notes for
Cutler
him,
ever.
I have the middle finger emoji next to his name.
Nice.
So, no Jay Cutler. But to piggyback off Tyrod Taylor and his rushing abilities, I think Colin Kaepernick will do equally as well. Playing against the Patriots, 5,200. I mean, when you put him in your lineup, you're not going to want to watch the game because, he's Colin Kaepernick. He's not a good player, but he's had 3x each week. He's like the 12th best quarterback points per game wise since he started, since he got the job back. I don't see a scenario in which he doesn't get like his 80, not 80, it's like 60 rushing yards. And the Patriots, they're going to be up by 40 points. They won't really care what Kaepernick does. He'll get like 2 touchdowns at the end of the game. So that's what I'm looking at for Colin Kaepernick. And another quarterback that I like is Kirk Cousins. He's 5,800. Packers secondary, it's just been very lousy. And Kirk Cousins has had 3x value in 7 of his 9 games. I think at 5,800, he should be able to do that again.
All right. Well, let's pull up the DraftKings site here, and let's together come up with a quarterback we want to use. So which one of these 6 guys are we going with?
All of them.
Well, probably, but
Yeah.
I say definitely spend down. I mean, I'm definitely for Dalton, but I would settle for Kaepernick if I had to.
Oh, no Dak love?
No.
Come on, you're a
I-
Cowboys
I
fan. How
kinda-
could you not like Dak?
I love Romo.
Yeah.
I kind of got a little
God.
little rough spot for Dak right now.
Oh, God. Where'd TJ go?
I think we should save some cash and go a little bit lower. I'm leaning Dalton as well. I really like the Dalton Green Eifert stack this week.
Yeah, Dalton's fine.
Yeah.
I actually like Tyrod more than Dalton this week, but I would be fine with either of them.
Yeah, I'm good with Dalton for cash.
Are we really putting the red rifle into our cash lineup?
Red Rifle.
This has J Cutler
Don't-
written
Hey,
all over it.
Don't.
Oh, no. Do not compare him to Cutler.
All right, so you just jinxed it, and I'm gonna start calling you Jinxie instead of Cheesy. And now I think we need to take him out of our lineup. All right, so let's move on to running backs. Charles, why don't you start us off? Give me 2 guys you like for cash.
And I think the best way to go at running back is spending up this week. Obviously, Le'Veon Bell, I mean, really doesn't need any explanation. Another plus side for Bell, the wind this week in Cleveland, they're talking about roughly around 30-mile-per-hour winds. That's going to kill the pass game. And Bell's averaging, 7, 8 targets a game, something like that? Like, that's number 1 wide receiver target share for a running back, plus the goal line carries and everything else. I mean, Bell's definitely a lock. You got to lock him in cash. Then, I mean, 8,800, it's a little expensive. DraftKings seems to be bumping up their prices, but
They raised them all.
going down at QB, we can afford to do it, and there's really not any receivers that I like that much that are high up, so, figured running back be the best. Second guy that I like, DeMarco Murray. How can you not? He's scored over 20 points every week but 1 week. He's throwing touchdown passes now. This guy's doing it all for them. Let's see, what was it? Running backs are also averaging 22 points a game versus Indy. So, that right there tells you Murray, easy.
Yeah.
Easy money. All right, Cheesy. Share your wealth of knowledge.
We have our Google Docs that we all have it shared together, and so we don't have the same players. And Charles went after me to put in his players, and he also put in Le'Veon Bell. That just shows you how much Le'Veon Bell is the nuts. He's going to kill 32 points. I guarantee it. Not really, but he's gonna have a great game. And in his 4 career games versus the Browns, he has a total of 496 yards. That's my stat for Le'Veon Bell. And the other guy I want to talk about is Spencer Ware. He's 6,000 in every game that he's had 18 or more touches. He's averaging 23 or more DraftKings points. And I know Gerald McCoy, that split is whatever, but I think if he's gonna get his touches, and he'll easily get 3x. I most likely would say 4x.
All right. TJ, who you want to add?
First, I was just going to ask you guys, you prefer, let's just say wind isn't a factor in this game. Do you prefer Le'Veon Bell to Antonio Brown overall?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Even if you take out the wind.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care about the weather. Le'Veon Bell is going off in this game.
All right, yeah, I agree with that. So I think Le'Veon Bell is probably a lock in our cash lineup right now. And then I don't really have much else in cash. I like CJ Process a lot. I think he's going to be pretty chalky. You should see about around 20 touches for a guy that's, 4,200. And Philadelphia is actually a pretty good pass defense at defending almost every position, except they struggle a little bit against running backs, which is where CJ Process excels. And then another note I have in here is I'm hearing some talk for Theo Riddick. I actually prefer Frank Gore to Theo Riddick, as hard as it is to say that. So Theo Riddick's going up against Jacksonville, who's actually number 1 versus receiving running backs. They're 4th for passes over the middle, and they're 9th for short passes in DVOA. So that's exactly where Riddick excels. So I think it's gonna be a struggle for him. While Frank Gore has gotten 3x in most of his games this year. He's averaging 15.7 DraftKings points. He's a home favorite, which is what you always look for in a running back. And they're the 3rd highest team total on the board. It's not that tough of a matchup for him. So I think he's actually a decent cash play, as much as I don't really like playing Frank Gore. But
So what you're saying is we should have Dalton and Frank Gore as our core for our cash lineup?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying definitely put in Le'Veon Bell first, and then figure it out.
Fair.
All right. Before we go to wide receivers, what's everyone's take on LaShawn McCoy? I know you guys didn't prepare for this, but I kind of like his value here at 6,900 versus the top guys. And before his injury, I mean, this guy was number 5 on my board as far as running backs go for the year.
I actually have something prepared for him. I would have him a GPP play at that price. I just don't see, he should probably be as much owned as Le'Veon Bell. He's $2,000 less and has very similar upside. I think he's great for GPP.
All right. The cat agrees.
Yeah, Waylon agrees with you.
I think plug in the chalk. I would say right now, Le'Veon Bell and CJ Procise. I think that's probably the chalk this week. What do you guys think of that?
I have Lev Bell in already, so let's just decide on the second one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with Procise. I don't mind him. He's safe enough.
Yeah, he's gonna get the catches.
One's worried about the fact that they're playing Philly.
No,
if you heard what TJ was just saying, how Eagles give up most of they're vulnerable to passing running backs.
Yeah, they're 24th in DVOA versus receiving running backs, which is like what their weakest point is. So I think he's going to get probably around 5 catches, and we can project him for like 20 touches total. So I think at 4,200. I don't see him having a problem hitting value.
Well, if we all agree, he is in. All right. So right now, just to recap, we have Andy Dalton, Le'Veon Bell, and CJ Procise. Average remaining is 5,216 per player as we move on to the receivers. Let's see. Cheesy, why don't you start us off?
All right. I'm going to start off by going with Golden Tate. I know at the beginning of the season, just brutal to have. I know I drafted him very early, and I was very disappointed in the beginning, but he's starting to turn around. In his last 4 games, he's averaging 21 DraftKings points per game, and the Jaguars rank 27th in covering wide receiver 2s, which is probably what Golden Tate is for the Lions. So I think he's an excellent play at, I believe he's 5,300. And another guy I like is Terrell Pryor. What do I have here? Let's see. He in 7 games this season, he has 5 catches or more and 45 yards or more. That's a pretty nice floor. And in a game against, they're going to be trailing. They're going to have to passing the ball a lot. I don't really know who's starting for the Browns at quarterback, but it shouldn't matter. Terrell Pryor should hit value at 5.7. And the other guy I like is Dante Moncrief at, what is he? He's 6,100. And in 3 games, not against the Broncos, he has 3 touchdowns. So Andrew Luck just likes to give him touchdowns. I think he'll get a touchdown this one against the Titans. So I like him in cash also.
I think we might have lost Rob here for a little bit. His computer's having some problems.
My takes are too hot. Terrell Pryor and Golden Tate and cash, he's done.
I know Charles, you're on Terrell Pryor too, right?
Yeah, I love Pryor this week. I think Pryor on cash is great. He's going way overlooked. I hate to say it because I do not like Terrell Pryor.
You're not a Terrell Pryor fan.
No.
Remember we had that debate earlier this season when he first started.
Man, he turned out to be Deshaun Jackson. Puts it up one week and duds the next.
Yep. Who else do you like, Charles, in cash?
Sterling Shepard. I love Sterling Shepard. Another good mid-tier, mid-priced wide receiver. Save you some cash. Let's see. Where did he go on here? He's averaging, he's getting anywhere from 5 to 7 targets every game. He's scored a touchdown in every home game for the Giants this season, I believe it was.
Yeah, I heard that too.
The Bears' defense is getting tore up by the slot receivers. Jordan Matthews got him. Beasley got him. Bolden kind of got him. Hilton got him good. Hearns got him. Diggs got him. I don't see why Shepard can't do what he does, get about 40, 50 yards and a touchdown.
I like that.
Easily hit you cash.
How do you? I know Cheesy was debating on Odell Beckham in that game earlier. How do you feel about Odell Beckham versus the Bears? I'm just gonna take on that.
I'm a little nervous because they've shown that they can actually take away the number one receiver by doubling up and bracketing over him and stuff. I know Beckham's a beast, though, and all he needs is just one of those quick slants to break. But with the price difference, I'd rather go with Shepard. I feel much safer that way.
Yeah, that's what that was one of my problems last week with Mike Evans in cash is that the Bears have been solid against wide receiver ones. I mean, they allowed less than 10 points to Allen Robinson. They allowed less than 2 points to Jordy Nelson, and then they allowed Mike Evans just over 10 last week. So they've actually been pretty decent against wide receiver ones. But like you said, for GPP, I don't think Beckham has one of the highest ceilings of anyone in the league. So I'm fine with him for GPP, but I wouldn't play him in cash this week.
Touch on who you like.
I have up top Antonio Brown. If the wind isn't right now, they're saying the wind's going to be a factor. I'm hoping it's not because I love Antonio Brown. But at 9,500, it's going to be tough to get him in when you pretty much have to play Le'Veon Bell this week. Besides that, I also like Allen Robinson a lot. So in his last 3 weeks, Allen Robinson has really started to finally show up. He's averaging 21.4 DK points, and it's gone up each and every week. He's averaging over 13 targets a game in that span, so he's becoming the target monster that we loved last year. And then he gets Detroit's 32nd ranked DVOA pass defense. So I don't see him having a problem. I mean, even if Darius Slay is in there, I don't see him having a problem against him. So I'm actually fine with him for cash. I'll probably like him more for GPP, but I think he can easily hit 3x for cash. And then another guy I really like, again, this week is Jamison Crowder. This guy gets it done pretty much every week. He's had double digits in every week but one. And then he gets to take on the Green Bay pass defense, who is 20th versus passes over the middle and 20th versus short passes, which, I mean, it's not a fantastic matchup, but it's above average, and that's exactly where Jamison Crowder excels. So I don't see him having a problem, especially if Deshaun Jackson misses this game. Do you guys have any – Charles, do you have news on Deshaun Jackson? Is he practicing yet, or do you know?
No, I haven't seen anything on him, actually.
My guess would be not. I can check.
I didn't really look into the Redskins much.
You like that?
Okay, yeah, he was limited at practice on Thursday. He was limited at practice Thursday.
So I just looked up the for that Steelers game, and right now it's supposed to be about mid-30s, a little snowy, and 30-mile-an-hour winds. That sounds terrible.
Looks like there's no Antonio Brown. That's why. So I'm seeing a lot of. If you look at the line movement, you can kind of see there's a lot of sharp money on the under right now, and against the Steelers actually. So 84% of bets are for the Steelers in the spread, but their spread has dropped by 1.5. The big money's on the Browns, and then also the total has dropped by 3.
It's up to 3.5 now. It just changed.
It's up to 3.5. Okay, yeah. So those smart people in Vegas probably know more about this game than I do. So I'm a little hesitant. I like Le'Veon Bell a lot still, but I'm a little hesitant